Hey guys, you're listening to ChickFlicks with me, your host, Alexis Otang. I'm back with another episode, and today we are going to be talking about the newly released film, Don't Worry, Darling. Now, I talked about this film a little bit in my last episode on the Venice International Film Festival, but today I'm going to be deep diving as I did do a movie, and a lot of you guys said you wanted a full review. So that is what I'm presenting to you guys today. I'm super excited to talk about this film. And I'm also excited to give my opinions. I watched the film and I really thought on it because there's a lot of people putting out their opinions, a lot of people, adding on to the drama. But I really just want to give you a review that is as objective as it can be and really give you the facts because I feel like a lot of people are just trying to get clout off of bashing the movie or overtly praising the movie, whichever side you're on. So I'm going to try to give you guys just the tea, I guess. Not tea really, but just my opinions and how I feel about this film, aside from all the mess that's out there. So, quick little warning. This is a spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the film, you should definitely go watch it in theaters before you watch this if that was your plan, because I'm going to dive into every aspect of the plot, the production, and every in between. So get ready for a really great review and let's jump into it. So Don't Worry, Darling, as you know, is directed by Olivia Wilde. This is her second directorial debut. And the screenplay, the original screenplay, which Olivia Wilde bought the rights to direct, is by Katie Silberman. Now, it's important to note that the screenplay she wrote is not the script that they used for the movie. They did quite a bit of changes, and I'm going to delve into how that may have affected the long-term outcome of the film because I honestly do think that played a role into my personal opinion about it. So let that be noted. Now this film stars Florence Pugh. It stars Chris Pine, Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde, Gemma Chan, and Kiki Lane, just to name some of the stars. They honestly had an amazing cast, and everybody had high hopes for this film, as they should, because to be honest, with having a big star like Harry Styles in his first like main lead role, it's a big deal. People are going to see it just for him because they love him. People are going to go see it because they love Florence Pugh. She is on a roll throughout Hollywood, starring in many films. She's going to be in Dune. She has another film that's out around this time, but you may know her from Midsummer. She's also in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So people are obsessed and love Florence Pugh. Also, we have Chris Pine. I love him. He was in The Princess Diaries 2, which honestly is such a good film. It needs more recognition. It's just as good as the first movie, and sequels rarely are able to do that. So it's important to note. But this film is filled with stars. And to be honest, I honestly think they all did a great job. I honestly think the acting in this film is up there. It is good. But I definitely think that there's a lot of places where this film falls short. And the writing is where I want to start. I think that the writing for the film the script that they went with, I don't think it's bad, but I think it doesn't live up to the potential of where it could be. My biggest gripe with the film is really the last act. I think everything before was really good. I think that the acting was good. I think their story world building was good. But we are missing a lot of pieces to the puzzle. And I feel like the reason why a lot of people, if you don't know, some things, a lot of critics are saying that the film is going to leave you with a lot more questions than when you started with. And I agree with that. And I feel like the reason behind that is that its third act just doesn't give us enough information. There's a lot of, I don't want to say plot holes, but there's a lot of plot points that are not elaborated upon enough in order to really leave you satisfied at the end of the film. Um, Everything prior to that, I feel like was okay, but that last act, it definitely needed something. So if you are watching this, you really haven't seen the film. A quick summary: Alice is married to Jack, and they live in this city. He works for the Victory Project. Now, she doesn't really know what the Victory Project is, it's classified, as they say. But in this little town, the women stay home, tend to the house, go shopping, gossip, drink, all that things. And the husbands go to work before returning home to their beautiful wives and, doing all the house things that you do as a married couple. Nuclear family, 1950s type feel. And what really gets this film going, because honestly, Alice is perfectly content in her life. She's happy with her husband, with their life. She's happy that they're not pursuing kids. They just don't want that. They just want to be married, young, and free. But what really starts Alice on trying to figure out what's actually going on is the fact that her friend Margaret hasn't been doing well. And ultimately, Margaret's spiraling causes Alice to begin questioning everything, thus her spiraling. Now, I want to focus on Margaret because Margaret's character is kind of the flame that lit this whole town on fire. She is really the starting point of this adventure, and she's not given enough for the audience to understand how big of a role she plays in all of this. And that is a downfall of the writing specifically. If you did not know, Margaret is played by Kiki Lane, and she actually took to Instagram to talk about how she was cut out of the film a lot. And actually, she was written into the script to have a lot more of a presence, but in the final cut of the movie, they just kind of downgraded her to like a very minuscule supporting actress. And I feel like had they emphasized her role more, she would have legit helped solve a lot of the plot points that we were missing. But instead, they chose to feature more of Olivia Wilde's character. She plays Bunny, who's married to Dean, and he is in like the elite of the Victory Project. He's very closest to Frank, who is the man, like he's the big boss of the town, like he controls everything, everybody adores him and his wife. They are basically like the president of this little community, and he's also like the CEO of the Victory Project. Dean is very close to him, and though Bunny is like the duding wife, she's a bit like Alice, does the cooking, cleaning, she has kids, but she's sassy, she just likes to smoke, gossip, and play with her kids. That's her deal. They featured Bunny a lot throughout this film, and they kind of gave her a very, like, out of all the supporting roles of women, she has the most impact. And I feel like while her story is compelling, and I think Olivia Wilde did do a good job, and I do like her plot, I don't think she should have been as spotlighted as compared to other characters, because Violet, she is a newbie to this town. Her and her husband just moved into their town, and he just joined the Victory Project. She didn't get that much screen time. Her character is kind of reduced to her being very shy and tentative at first, and then she starts living in the town and adopting the persona of the other ladies. I feel like that was such a throwaway. I feel like Violet could have really added to the plot had she been questioning all that was going around her, just like Alice, which apparently in the original screenplay, Violet does play a big role like that. Though, again, they decided in the script that they went with the for the film to downgrade her part. And again, all of these choices that are made by the team, specifically Olivia Wilde too, I question like what was the reasoning behind it, because this film's potential is off the charts. When I tell you that a lot of people are saying some false things about the acting. People are, being like Harry Styles isn't good in it. I think Harry Styles was good in it. I think if you're saying that he wasn't, you're just trying to jump on the hate train. He was good. He gave I think he did the role of the charming husband with secrets who just is like caught up in this town, right? Like, I honestly think he did it justice. And the funny thing is, I 100% believe that Olivia Wilde rewrote parts of the script for him. There's a rumor going around that like Olivia Wilde always wanted Harry Styles to play the leading man, but the studio wanted to go with Shia LaBeouf, who was a more veteran actor who they could trust would do a good performance. I do not believe that the script that they ended up using didn't get rewritten for Harry Styles because I cannot not see Shia LaBeouf play Jack's character the way Harry has went with it, like how he did it. I can't see Shia LaBeouf playing a charming British man who's in love with his wife, knocks the socks off everybody, sexy, doting. Like, I don't see that. Shia LaBeouf fits more of the Jack that was created in the original screenplay because he is, not really charming. He's more manipulative. They have a more strained relationship, and he's a bit abusive verbally and in some ways physically. I definitely see Shia LaBeouf playing that role, especially with what's come out against him. Like, honestly, he would have been able to knock that one out the park. So the fact is, I definitely think a lot of things were changed in order to appeal to Olivia Wilde's character, to Jack's character. And I can understand if Florence, if Kiki Lane, if Ariel Stachel, who he plays Ted, who's Kiki Lane's husband in the film, and he gets cut out of the movie too. They both made posts on their Instagram, and I want to read exactly from it. Kiki Lane says that Oh, let me find it somewhere over here. She says that the best thing about Don't Worry Darling is I was lucky enough to meet Ariel Satchel. Love you, Ari, got my check, hashtag got my man, hashtag everything happens for a reason. And she goes on to state that, yeah, she was heavily cut from this film. Ariel Stachel also made comments stating that they were left on the floor of the cutting room and that it sucks, but they're going to move on and continue to thrive. And I honestly feel like had they have focused more on their characters instead of Olivia Wilde's, a lot of the problems we are seeing with the film would have happened. And when I talk about like that third act, I think the moment I started to be like, okay, I'm understanding what's going on, but like, I'm gonna need some more answers was when the reveal that, Florence's character, Alice, in the real world, because it's a simulation. We are unveiled that this whole thing is a simulation, that the Victory Project is actually like a company that builds a simulation where men get to live in the simulations, trapping their wives, creating this beautiful reality where the wives don't have to work. They get to be like dutiful housewives, and the men get to just come in, live their life, and then leave and work in the real world. That's like the whole Victory Project. That's what they really do. They don't actually work in the town. When they leave, they actually leave the simulation. And so when we figure that out and we find out that Alice is actually a surgeon and that her boyfriend is like a hacker who doesn't make a lot of money, so she has to be the breadwinner of their family, and that in real life, Jack isn't this charming, dutiful, sexy man, that he's actually kind of like a loser. Like he's doesn't have great hygiene, he's not beautiful, he's not charming anyway. And from there, we find out that Jack hates that, Alice isn't really well, honestly, I can't even say that Jack hates that she's the breadwinner. It's so unclear his motive. I guess his motive is that he just wanted them to live in a place where Alice didn't have to work, that they could spend time together, that they could just be happy in a world of just them and of just those two. And that's why he put her in the simulation. But to me, that doesn't really make sense. And that's one of the disconnects I have. I don't really understand Jack's reasoning for it. And we don't get the answers because he ends up getting killed by Alice when he tries to keep her there. Another thing is we end on a cliffhanger. The last moment, the last scene is Alice successfully getting out the simulation, and it goes through that little montage that you see every time you go into the simulation of women dancing, of women doing like synchronized swimming. And that's it. That's where the film ends. And that is legit the biggest what the hell? Like, we did all of this and we're not gonna find out, like, because from what they're saying, Alice had to leave once she killed Jack. You know, everybody, all of the men in the town figured out that she knew about the simulation, and she basically was starting to get the other women to question. So they were coming after her. Everybody in that town that was a guy was chasing her, trying to stop her from getting out the simulation, because once she got out, she would be able to honestly take them down. So I really think that they should have focused on what happened once she got out. What did Alice do? Did she successfully take them down? And also, there's a lot of things that happen in that final act that needs to be talked about. Frank, who's played by Chris Pine, his wife, who's played by Gemma Chan by the name of Shelby, ends up turning on her husband, stabbing and killing him. And we have no idea why she did that. Maybe I have a feeling that she's always known that they've been in a simulation, and Alice defiance and her deciding to escape may have triggered her to finally, stand up to her husband. But that is me just inquiring. Like, there's not enough evidence for me to be like, yes, that is why she turned on him. So I'm kind of left here questioning, like, dude, what's going on? And then we also see that a lot of the wives are questioning. We see that Bunny also knows. This is another thing that I want to mention. We find out that Bunny knows that they're in a simulation. And the reason why she's never said anything, why she's never tried to escape, is because her children are alive here. We get the sense that Bunny's kids died in the real world. And so she is like compliant and complacent and letting her husband put her in the simulation because at least her children are alive here. So she gets to spend time with them, which that is a good plot point. That makes sense. But like, we just find that 30 seconds before the whole like chase scene ensues, and we get nothing more. That's it. That's the end of Bunny's character, really. She helps Alice, she pushes Alice to leave. And to be honest, it doesn't make sense that if that's Bunny's reasoning, why would she then help Alice get out the simulation? Why wouldn't she just help kill Alice so that she can continue living the simulation with her kids? Because even if Alice escapes, I don't believe that Alice is escaping the simulation and then just going back to her regular life. Not even going to try to, like, she seems sympathetic to the rest of those women that she's going to try to take down the Victory Project. So I don't really get Bunny's motives. Maybe she does understand, like, this is effed up. I chose to be here, but the rest of these women should choose if they want to stay here or not. But we don't get, like, if that's what Bunny's coming from, if that's where she's coming from, they need to do a better job at letting us know about that. So, like I said, there's just a lot of plot holes in this film, but do I like it? Yeah, I did like the movie. I did enjoy it. And I do want to say a lot of people were talking about like, oh, like they focus too much on the sex scenes. I don't know what film they were watching, but there was legit only two, and I don't think they were that vulgar. Like, I don't think they were that bad. I think they were fine. Um I thought they were done in a tasteful way, and they didn't bother me, to be honest. Like, I don't think the whole film, their whole relationship was centered around sex. I do think, though, he used that as a way of controlling Florence's character a bit, but I definitely don't think that they like just continued to throw sex scenes. There was literally just two that were prominent, and that's it. So just wanted to point that out. Definitely think that people were blowing that out of the situation, and maybe do have to do with the fact that their sex scenes mostly focused on Alice's pleasure, and it was mostly her getting the pleasurable experience. And so that's why it might be a little bit taboo. But Olivia Wilde stated that she wanted the sex scenes to be focused more on the female's perspective, because in film, they don't really do that. It's all about the guy. And so I think she did a great job. If there's anything I'm going to give her props for, it's definitely that. I think she did a great job directing those scenes. Um, and yeah, on the acting scale, I think everybody was good. I think everybody brought their A game. Of course, Florence though was by far the best of the movie. She was the lead actress, and she definitely took the reins of this movie. And her acting is phenomenal. She is definitely a rising star, and she's going to have a great career. As for Harry, again, I think he did a good job. I think he delivered the role perfectly fine. Um, and I do want to clarify something because people were like, Harry is trying to do like an American accent, and it's so bad because it sounds British. His character is British. His character is British in the simulation. Let me phrase it like that. Jack in the real world is an American, but when he created his character in the simulation, he is a British man. So if you were wondering about the accent, that is the explanation. And honestly, when he's talking as an American, he sounds pretty legit. And when he's talking like a British, he sounds legit. Though some people are saying his British, I don't know. Some people were just getting on him about it. But if you watch the film, understand that when he's in the simulation, he's supposed to have a British accent. And when he's in the real world, he's supposed to have an American accent. And I think he does both perfectly fine. Um, I last thing I want to point out that was like funny to me is they do have a scene where Harry does get to show off his not even musical talent, his artistic ability. My problem with that scene is I think they were trying to avoid that common trope when you have a celebrity who is a musician star in like their film, a first film. They always do some type of musical number to highlight their vocal ability. I guess they were trying to avoid that, so they didn't have Harry sing in the film like on stage at the party. Instead, they had him dance. But I don't get why they did that because Harry Styles is not known for dancing. You know, he has that like goofy, like type of like chill type of dancing he does at the concert, but he's no like BTS. So I don't know why they had him dance on stage. And I wouldn't really call it dancing because he legit just did the same like jumping twirl move 30 times. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'm not exaggerating. He did it like 30 times, and I don't get why. I think they should have just had him sing. Like, let's stop kidding ourselves. He's a singer. We're here to see him sing. Like, I was hoping he was having a like honestly, I think it would have worked in the film if he was serenading Alice with daylight or not daylight, a late night talking or daydreaming. Heck, even satellite. That would have really worked with the film. Him singing satellite, I think that would have been such like a little foreshadowing. So yeah, I don't know why they had him dance on the stage. They should have just had him sing. But other than that, I think this film was great. The cinematography, I didn't even touch on the cinematography. And y'all know I love films with amazing cinematography. And this film has it. It's good. When it comes to just the look of the film, Olivia Wilde, I'm giving you your flowers. You did amazing. As for some of the directing choices when it comes to the acting, the plot, all those, I will give you a 7 out of 10. I don't think this film was bad as everyone is trying to make it out to be. Is it like the most amazing thing in the world? No, but it's definitely not bad. And I think we are getting into this thing where people are dogpiling, trying to call it trash. So, is Don't Worry, Darling, let me say that again. Is Don't Worry, Darling ChickFlicks approved? Yes, I think you should go see it. Make your own opinions about it see it for yourself and decide whether you like it or not. I feel like there's a lot of noise, and at least for me, it was a pleasant experience. There was just some plot holes at the end, which stopped the film from living up to its true potential. I know this whole film I've been talking about like the downfalls, but honestly, aside from that, I think the movie was entertaining. If you're looking for an entertaining movie, a psychological thriller in the sense, definitely watch this. I think it was good. And yeah, guys, that's it from me. If you enjoyed this episode, wherever you're watching, please give it 5 stars. If you're on Spotify, like on YouTube, definitely subscribe to whatever channel you're watching this on, whether it's FAU Owl TV or simply Alexis. If you would like to connect with me on any of my socials, look in the link tree of my bio on Instagram at my bad. I'm no longer simply Alexis. I'm just Alexis Otang. So if you're looking for my Instagram, it is Alexis Otang, which is spelled ALEXISOTENG. And you guys can find my TikTok from there for at the ChickFlicks Show and follow us on our Instagram at the ChickFlicks Show. And this was a long promo of me shouting out all my accounts. Also, follow FAU OwlRadio because we are an official show podcast for them. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. This is Alexis signing off at ChickFlicks. You guys have a good one, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.